Where's Jay at? Oh, there's you. Why y'all so quiet? Are in a party?
No, it's Whisper.
Oh, I see. Hey,
Hey.
Oh, there we go.
Whisper.
Oh, cute.
Hey.
Did you have? Where's
Hey.
the? What you call it? I can't get
Oh,
on
back
stage,
there.
Jay.
No, it's the door's back here.
Oh.
You have
I
to
didn't
kind of
even
like
see
shove
the
yourself through
door.
the door. Yeah, we're still getting set up. I'm inviting some people.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the balloons. They're cuties. Birthday balloons. Birthday balloons. Birthday balloons.
Whose
Birthday
birthday?
balloons.
D's.
It's 9.
Oh, happy birthday.
Hey, Marty. Oh,
Okay.
hey, Marty. So have a seat. We're about to start the show. I'm inviting people. Anywhere where there's a seat.
Okay. What kind of show are we doing here?
So, what I do is I usually interview creators, and then from there we talk about like hot topics from that. So, since Dee is a counselor and a life coach, we're gonna be talking about a lot of like sexuality. We're gonna be talking about a lot of like accepting your body and just knowing how to like really endorse yourself and really like be like confident. So that's kind of today's hot
Okay.
topic.
All
Yeah.
right. I might hang out for a minute here. Can I sit over here
Yeah.
with
Oh,
Sadie Sean?
Yeah,
Sadie
yeah.
Sean.
Yeah,
Hello.
see, find a seat, hun. We're
cute.
about to get
Sadie
started.
Sean.
We're about to get
Okay.
started, hun.
How are you?
Really?
I'm
Yeah.
well. How are you?
Invite your friends, okay?
I'm better now.
Okay.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I don't mean to pry, but do you have this freckle in real life?
I don't
This
have
little
any
beauty mark?
freckles.
The
No,
beauty mark
I
right
don't.
there. You don't have that? You don't?
Mm-mm.
What
Mm-mm.
about the piercing? You got a piercing?
Yes.
Maybe. I knew it. I knew it was one of the two. I took a shot. I took a shot. I just need to tell you that your avatar is absolutely fire. You definitely put some time into that. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Shooting that shot, Marty. Marty's shooting his shot.
I got to,
Thank you.
right?
Appreciate it.
I'm just saying, I'm just calling like I see it.
Thank you.
Goodness.
Appreciate
Yeah, absolutely. Where are you from?
it.
Can we talk about that? Where you from?
I'm from Jersey, but
From
yeah,
Jersey.
yeah, I'm from
From
Jersey.
I'm from New York. Concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you
You are funny.
can't do. I'm from New York, but I'm from like upstate, like the mountains.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. I see.
Sadie
Everyone can hear me
Okay.
now.
Yes, we can. Those are for Q&A spots.
Oh my
Oh,
God, what did I walk into?
what's your favorite kind of pizza?
Oh.
Chicken nuggets.
Now it's your turn to A. Chicken nugget pizza? That's fucking gross.
Oh.
No judgment though. No judgment.
Oh, goodness.
Hmm. So how long you been coming into the metaverse?
It's
How do I get back
a little
down
over a
from
year
here?
now.
Oh, so you're like a veteran.
Uh
I'm a
huh.
newbie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could tell.
Yeah, you can tell. How can you tell?
All right, I need to get
Let
Mm,
me
off
know.
here.
Put me on.
um,
Yeah, no, well, I'm not on
because you don't know who I
freaking
am.
Alaskan time like
I do
fucking
now.
igloo people.
That was all right. Cause you don't know who I am.
Oh,
I'm gonna find out though. I'm gonna have to do some research, Miss Sadie Sean.
you're gonna have to go make friends in Bree's podcast.
I'm gonna do
All
some
right.
research.
Be my guest.
They were getting heated in there. That was not.
What are your usual spots? Where do you go? It's a
I
big
don't
I'm out of
metaverse.
really,
here. See you guys.
I don't, I don't really have like a specific spot that I go to. I just
No,
come on here for a couple of hours and leave.
just bounce around. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. That's what's up. That is what's up. Where'd they go? I thought they was about to start some show. All right. Super quiet in here.
Hello, everybody. The show's about to start in just a few more minutes. Just a few more minutes. And don't forget to like and save the world. And welcome to season 2 of the What Upton. Today's special guest is D1985-4, and our hot topic is sexuality acceptance and knowing your body. Dee is a specialized spiritual healer and therapist, and she's not only that, but on top of her belt is life coaching, a phenomenal life coach. So if you need any guidance or any therapy session, please shout out to Dee, and her Instagram is going to be on the slide at the end of the show. Thank you. Yeah. Where's the remote microphone? Everybody. circle. Step on the circle. Step on the circle. Can you hear me? You can't hear me?
There you go. I can change my. I can't hear you at all. Like at all. Talk. Wait. Nope. I don't hear you. No. No. As not you. The. You came Rama. Oh, I think you Rama.
Oop, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Like I was saying, Amazon and Meta released a lot of employees, and it's honestly very heartbreaking and sad. So my condolences on that. With that being said, I'm going to bring out my special guest, D 1985-4, for today's hot topic. D.
Hello. Wait. Can you guys hear me? Can everybody hear me? Perfect.
Oh
Thank
my
you. Thank you.
god.
We couldn't hear you, Jay. I was like, I can't
Oh,
hear you. We can't hear you.
yeah.
But yes, we got the live stream going, so just shared that
Yeah.
across the platforms. Hey,
Mm-hmm.
welcome back
Hey,
to What
y'all.
Upton.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
excited your show came back. I know everybody was
Mm-hmm. It was
excited.
very much needed. So,
Yes.
so enough about me, girl. Tell us about the certificate you just posted.
I dropped my microphone. Oh, so yeah, I day before yesterday, I finally got accepted into the Spiritual Healing Assembly. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
national recognized assembly for spiritual healing and guidance, and also for spirit work, and also for um, I mean, it had a bunch of titles on it, but I went to school for
Yeah.
4 years for that, and I studied for 4 years, and I've been waiting about 5, 6 months to wait for my acceptance, and it came day before yesterday. So yay! That's been a long
Congratulations.
time coming. But
Yeah.
they accept you, so I mean, you can do the coursing, but you have to um do a lot of different spiritual healing and become so now I am a master healer and life
Mm-hmm.
coach, so I can now actually like make money doing it.
Not, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so now I can do master healing on my own through my businesses, and before I couldn't really do it, so I didn't really advertise it a bunch because it was kind of like when you're like on a residency, like I would have to prove of different people. It wasn't anything that I could LLC at the moment, but now I can.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. So, for a lot of people who are watching, D, kind of explain more in depth about that process of that 5 months waiting. Like, what are you able to do? What you're not able to do? Like, how do you
Mhm,
keep track of time to get paid? Like, what is it
mhm.
like? Like, what was the training? What was the courses like? Like, just like go all in about it.
Yeah, so after I went and stayed on a monastery with pretty much the easiest way to put it is like a monk's monastery, and I went through very rigorous training for probably about 6 months. I did a vow of celibacy. I did, there's a lot of, I did a vow of silence for 30 days. Um, so while I was there, there's a lot of training that is involved, and it depends on that team of people. If they say, listen, we feel like, your healing is broad enough to heal other people. And so that's what I did. And so, like, for the months that I've been waiting, it's like I already completed my vows and I completed my training and been doing training for 4 years. So before, like during those months, I'm able to provide direct shift therapy, like where I can like with you, I'm allowed to do
Mm-hmm.
that, but I can't I can't LLC it. I cannot make my own business. Kind of like
Mm-hmm.
a doctor. Like a doctor can go to school to be a doctor, but he can't really practice until he's certified. So I took it very
Mm-hmm.
seriously, is why I didn't really um uh, advertise it a lot. A lot of people knew that I provided just, coaching. I could relevant as a coach, but I couldn't relevant as a healer. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I could provide coaching, and so I never really provided a lot of healing, like full healing, until now. Even with you, Jay, like I couldn't go in depth with healing processes and meditation and different courses of action on that until I got my master's certification, which was approved by a board of 100, like almost 100 spiritual healers in our community.
Well, that's so great. Congratulations on that. And I can't wait to see what else more you do with it and
Yay!
like what offices and what other people you do. And I know for your nonprofit, Free Moms
Hmm.
Hugs, I know
Hmm.
that's gonna shoot off even more now that you have that certificate. And I know your
Yeah.
ideas are just running with ideas.
Oh, it's
So like
crazy.
what are you planning on for like next Atlanta Pride now that you have your certificate and
Hmm.
like what's the future to come with it?
Yeah, so I work on the board with Pride. So now that I have that finalized, I mean, they never tell you when they'll let you know if you're like accepted into the board, or not the board,
Mm.
but on the healing platform. So I have a lot of things, and that's kind of why I've been MIA really, for the last probably, I don't know, probably a few weeks. So I've been trying
Mhm.
to get my thoughts together on like what's my next steps in life, where do I want to go with this. I have businesses in real life that they all tie together, but there's a lot of things I want to do in Horizons and I want to do in Meta with this. Um, I'm just waiting, and I was proud to see the video that Angel and the girls put out about Mastercard coming in and providing small business platforms. So I've really, honestly, for a lot of stuff, that's what I've been waiting on. I think this is our future, um,
Mhm.
in business models and in small businesses and entrepreneurs that are really wanting to get out and um, showcase. But my big thing's gonna be I do want to open a practice, so that's my next step. But I have to log a lot of different avenues and hours in order to have a practice. So that's what I've been
Yeah.
really diving into, is having one, seeing what it would take in the metaverse to have a practice, and two, even in real life. I have the shop, and then I want to open, a more metaphysical healing station and stuff. So that's what I've been looking
Mhm.
into. It's a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, that's good on you, girl, that you're pushing and pursuing that. So for
Hmm.
today's hot topic, it's gonna tie into a lot of spiritual healing and a lot of like knowing yourself. So we're gonna work backwards.
Hmm.
So for the audience, how would you define knowing your body and like knowing what someone personally can do for themselves to help manifest and actually keep healthy when it comes to sexuality acceptance?
So one of my biggest, like, and I've been thinking about this kind of question, and I get asked this more often than none, because I think more of my healing and spirituality direction is going to go into more of a feminist, feminine divine intervention direction. I'm not saying anything bad. That's just what me, myself, has
Mm-hmm.
encountered. So I think one of the biggest things, I think with women um, in general, is, finding femininity is really hard. Even understanding what femininity is to themselves spiritually is extremely hard, and understanding what type of femininity you're wanting to explore in yourself, because there's many, but most people hear dark femininity, and that's something I've been in for a very long time. I'm working myself out of that into more of my soft feminine, and I think that comes with me being healed to be able to be in soft feminine. um, but I think one of the biggest things that women need to understand is the power of really what it is that you are capable
Mm-hmm.
of, and truly understanding like this is me. This is my center in the universe, and this is what I'm going to do to be productive with it. And when
So
that's
basically, another
present,
form of values.
another form of values for yourself, not anybody else. And that's where it gets really confusing for women. I think there's such a social standard on femininity and what a female still to this day is like their role here centrally.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're supposed to be this and no, you're not. You're supposed to be who you want to be. Now, if that is your role and you want to be a stay-at-home mom, or you want to be a CEO, or you want to do these certain things, it doesn't matter. But I think in women, to make those decisions consciously is where you would really have to understand how your energy, yourself, your center, how is that going to affect the world around you and what you're wanting to manifest in your life. So if you're I think females in general, mostly, is until you know what your center is and if and what is you're going to be your like biggest pride center and where you can find that, then you make that decision on what you want to do. It's really hard now because women, even sexually, when they're looking at society, even to this day, telephone, TV shows, all this stuff always shines a different systemic value on women. Like you're doing
Mm-hmm.
this, you can only do this, and you can only do this. So as young women grow up, I have a 15-year-old daughter myself. They're seeing this systemic view on women, and so that is the direction that they go in. So I think it's a long time coming, and I think as women, if you want to delve yourself in your sexuality and who you are spiritually, that needs to start in the beginning in order to raise a culture of systemic women who
Mm-hmm.
understand this is not what I need. This is the social standard of me as a female. This is not it. And it won't,
Yeah.
it will continue until cultural change. And culture is changing towards women, 110%.
Mm-hmm.
But a cultural acceptance of a spiritual woman is not accepted, unfortunately.
Yeah. So to add on to that, so I know that you talked about like a lot of women's rights and having them know their way.
Mhm.
Now, I know this may not knowing how you could put yourself in a man's shoes. What would you
Mhm.
say for that same question, but for the male audience watching about them knowing their body and not being very as you say, very garbage.
Very garbage. I think what it is in actuality, as well as many people here know, I really don't see a lot of gender when I meet people, right? I provide an open, safe space for myself, for people to be in my energy. And I'm not saying that men are not all men are that's not what I'm saying at all. The reason why I do the things that I do is because they're things that affect me directly now, and seeing because I fight for things that affect me. That's
Mm-hmm.
just like how am I going to do things and have that passion for certain things? Let's say if I was African American, I can't because I'm not African American. So that's where
Yeah.
people get the distinguish of like being a feminist. Like I'm a modern feminist. Like I'm not out here like raging against men. I'm just fighting for things that affect me directly. And
Mm-hmm.
so when it comes to men and finding their part, I think what it is as well, and I know this might not be really accepted from a lot of people, is I think that men need to be understand that their energy and female energies or non-binary, whoever it is, everybody's energies are level. They're all on the
Mm-hmm.
same page. there shouldn't be a social standard on men to do that. Just like I say with female, is like men shouldn't have that social standard, and neither should women. I think everybody should be on the same page, on the same energy, and have that same respect for each other. I'm not out here raging against men. That's what what confuses me, because a lot of people don't understand what modern feminism is. And
They're so prone on the old feminists where they think they're
yeah,
gonna flip cars and slash tires to where like
yeah, or
you're
free
gonna just
bleed, or
literally you're gonna sit here and you're gonna talk about it. You're gonna sit there and you're gonna really push yourself in a more peaceful protest. The
oh
reason why I
yeah,
say protest
absolutely.
is like you're gonna do it in a more softer approach versus someone who would do it more aggressive and violently. You're
Oh
more
yeah.
genuine and you're more passionate, and you want to show the more caring side of a
Yeah.
feminist. So for the people watching, that's the difference between a modern feminist and not a violent feminist, but what's the other term for it? There's a different word for it.
There's a lot of words for it. So there is more radical feminists. So radical
There's the word I was
feminism.
looking for.
Yes, radical feminism. I agree with them. Like it's not. I'm not out here like disagreeing with radical feminism. Everybody to each their own. You can have your own
Mm-hmm.
beliefs, and we can all agree to things. Me myself personally is I don't like if I meet a new, let's say I'm in a room full of new people, and then let's say it's 50-50 or let's say 50-25, whatever it is. So you
Mm-hmm.
got non-binary people who are not identifying with a gender, and then you've got males, and then you have females. And I give the utmost respect to any male or any non-binary person in the room. What happens, their conversation and their interactions to me and other people is where I'm going to either try to educate, and that's what I always do. So if I'm in a situation where shit's going down and I'm trying to educate somebody and they're not willing to listen, then I'm going to back off. But if I get, blasted or assaulted, and I've been in those situations many
Chastise,
times,
yeah.
chastise, or, I'm not going to chastise you. If you tell me this is what you believe in, I'm like, okay, we agree to disagree, but we're not going to do that today. But back to what you're saying for
Yeah.
men is, I think with men, in order to find a comfort in their self sexually or emotionally or spiritually and finding that partner, they need to be spiritually connected themselves. You're going to find
Mm-hmm.
men of all different like levels. You're going to find men that are
Literally.
you're going to find men that are accepting of females and say, listen, we're on an equal playing level and you could do this. I've met men that are stay-at-home dads. I've met men that and it's turning because now you're seeing females are the breadwinners in families now. So you're
Mm-hmm.
seeing that more and more. You're seeing that more, because females are more opt being educated and pushing themselves to be out of that stigma. So they're going to do whatever the fuck they can in order not to be sitting stagnant. So you got a march of women that are doing this. So it's
Mm-hmm.
putting us on a different platform as females, which is beautiful. With men, it's understanding yourself and knowing that sexually or acceptingly that you are on the same playing level as everybody else. Um,
Mm-hmm.
your ego, men with really tight, tall egos, we don't get along at all because it's such miseducation on their part. But I do educate myself on their part and why. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And so I can understand both ends because I've had people come to me and men come to me as like, hey, help me understand myself spiritually and be open to this ideal I have in my head that's been here for
Stuck.
since I was
Floated.
born, and
Literally.
all over TV and there's nothing it's just the way they're raised. And I think coming up with a different option for acceptance on all genders. So I want people to understand I'm not out here again being a radical feminist. I'm here being pretty much a spiritual awakening person, coach, or anybody who comes to me can have that conversation with me, but that's where I can say with men is understand yourself and what you're capable as well, and how much you can provide to your partner or to a female, and how much she can provide to you, and understand it's equal.
Mm-hmm. So my follow-up question, we're gonna work backwards now. So when it comes
Mhm.
to a female's perspective on sexuality and accepting it, how would you say a female has a better acceptance rate than a male when it comes to sexuality?
That is a really, really good question, because again, systemics and the way that women, in how they are more in tune with themselves, sensitive, open, and accepting. If you see a male that is questioning his sexuality, right, he feels like he is
Threatened.
wrong. He's wrong. He's wrong to feel this way. He was raised a different way. He was raised, with society and what is shown on TV and what they say about being gay or trans or anything like that, that it's wrong. And especially in different areas of the United States, depending on where you're at. So I think
Mm-hmm.
women that are more accepting is because I want you to think, if you're watching TV and you see two girls kissing, 9 times out of 10, nobody's going to flash an eye, and guys are going to be like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Okay, put the same room of people, same people in the same room, and show two men kissing. Let's see what happens. It's because
The backlash.
it's the backlash, or someone transitioning, or somebody working on their sexuality, or coming out of the closet, or um, again, it's the social stigma of sexuality, because you can go way back to, like, even like, and I've looked back way back into even the 70s, like on TV shows and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and of females being more sexualized. It's because females have been sexualized since females could be sexualized.
Literally, yeah.
And so men being sexualized is really not a social thing that we see a lot. So I think when it comes to sexuality, the reason why women are so open is because they're so sexualized. And they would feel more comfortable saying, I am gay, I'm bisexual, I'm pansexual, transgendered, whatever it is because if it is more in a female direction, is because females have been so sexualized for the entire recorded centuries of history. If you go back and look, you don't see a lot of men sexual, being sex. Not saying it doesn't happen, because it does. I
Yeah,
know it
it
does,
does. It does. Yeah, for sure.
but not as accepting on a society platform as females. So that 100% is why I feel that females feel more comfortable in their sexuality than men do.
That's good. That's good.
That's a
That's a good point of
society
view.
thing.
Literally, literally. So then turn the tables a little bit and kind of critique what you just said about why females are more accepting on their sexuality. Now, why do you think men have such a hard time getting into that inner femininity and trying their hardest to like stray away from it when it's okay? Like, for instance, like I couldn't go to the nail salon and I see a two like hetero couple, like wife and husband going to the nail salon. He's getting his toes done with her, but then other men look at that as too feminine or too, like, oh, he's probably gay or like whatever. Like, why is that type of masculinity shunned?
Again, like, one of I'm did a whole study and back study of society in the direction it puts people for their sexuality or for their gender. Um, I did this with one of my friends, Julie. We did a whole study on it. We pulled our. I mean, I can post it. Everybody can read it. It's fantastic. But again, it is absolutely the direction of society and media and movies and the way we're growing up. It's like, as you're a kid, you're watching cartoons and you're seeing the separation of masculinity and femininity. You're absolutely going to see that. It's the way it the way it is. And I think what it does also is, as we were growing up as like millennials or Generation X, where millennials are changing the page. Generation Z is taking it and in understanding, hey, this is what y'all went through and what you guys are seeing and how y'all grew up is not the way it's going to be anymore. And so me as a millennial, like that, I find it my job to direct, this next generation into social acceptance of everybody, um, on all pages. But for the reason why I feel like men say, "Oh, I don't want to go get my toes done because that's a girl thing," um, that also comes into like self care and a lot of
Hygiene,
men, and
literally.
hygiene, literally, and it comes with hygiene. It's like men don't really think about that kind of stuff when we're girls and we're growing up and we're little. We want our nails done and look cute and pinks and pretties. And again, it's like when you walk into places like that, it is female driven, like everything in there, all of the, again, this is a culture of masculine design that is so different because it's separated. But as you start
Hmm.
looking now, that separation is fading away. And it will take a culture of it will take a culture of a new generation to say, I'm not raising my kids that way. I'm not going to raise my kids to different differentiate, sorry, my tongue,
No, you're
differentiate
good.
masculinity and femininity. Now, is it still a thing that needs to be identified? Absolutely. Does it need to be
Absolutely. Yeah.
equal? 1,000%. So I think that's where men just see these certain things, and because of like so back in the 80s and 90s, even the 2000s, that's when the gay culture was really coming out. And I think
For sure.
when people see this gay culture that has a stigma, you know how long it takes for stigma to go away from a whole fucking
It
culture?
takes years. It takes years.
Generations.
Literally.
Generations. I mean, again, like I say, like with
Because it
the,
could come back. It could come
yeah,
back and it could fade away again. It's like for instance like black rights. It's always
yeah.
gonna be there, but each generation's gonna make it either more peaceful
Hmm.
or more violent.
Yes. So I don't know if you've seen Purple Platforms is doing the 28 Days of Black History Month. And today she had one in regards to watermelon and how culturally disgusting that is. That's the same thing. It's not the same at all, but I'm just saying that's the mindset of a distinguishing culture where they identify things and it'll stick. It will like
Hmm.
me today. If I see something like that, I don't think that because I wasn't raised that way. And again, it
Yeah.
takes generations to break this bridge of a social transport of diversity, and it will take years. So it'll keep moving up and keep moving on. So when it comes to masculinity or femininity, not the same at all, but I'm saying that that's just showing the time slot of how long it will take. I would say
Hmm.
the next generation after Generation Z, those kids are going to be, that generation is going to be the one to bridge that gap and having an understanding that, it's not just male or female. It just needs to be people. And
Hmm.
not saying everybody's got to change it, but there's always going to be that divine. It will always be there. Um,
Yeah.
it's it's lowering it so that it is more acceptance if somebody is not on that.
Hmm.
And that's kind of the thing. It's like, okay, I tell people I'm a modern feminist. Again, still have the social stigma of that. It probably will always, until again we're raising our kids. Yes, if you're going to be a modern feminist, this is not what we're doing. um Sometimes we do have to be radical. Every culture has to
Yes.
be radical.
There's
Every
always some type of ratification in anything, like even something so little, like, oh, I dropped my popcorn. What are you gonna do? You're probably gonna flip a table, maybe accidentally step on your cat's tail.
Well, that's, and exactly when I talk about, women's rights or LGBTQA plus rights or even, African American rights, Native rights. I mean, there's always got to be a sense of radicalism to say, listen,
Hmm.
you're going to fucking listen to me and we're going to do
Literally.
this. And either you're not going to do this or this is going to happen. So that does happen. But I'm not out here just raging. Anytime I see a man, I'm like, fuck you, or whatever. I'm not out here
Yeah,
doing
no, for
that.
sure.
Um, if I feel something that we can learn from each other, I try to educate as much as I can, especially about the
Without feeling
LGBT.
threatened.
Yes, especially about the LGBTQA plus community. Now, when it comes to, femininity and women's rights, that's a little bit more tricky
A little bit
because it's
more,
like,
yeah,
yeah, it could be, it goes so many ways. Um,
literally.
so yeah, radicalism is needed, and speaking
Hmm.
up and speaking out and being heard is very important.
Hmm.
Sometimes you do have to put your foot down. I mean, God, I've been arrested
Definitely.
2 times so for initiating a riot. So I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
You know.
So for all the people watching D, and the people like kind of like chiming in and kind of like thinking like deeply about their sexuality and stuff,
Mhm.
what would you say would be the appropriate steps to someone so not coming out, but like the appropriate steps to accepting their sexuality? What steps does someone needs to take to slowly understand that and not rush into anything and feel like they're bombarding their mind with so much?
I think
What
one of the
spiritual practices could there be?
I think one of the biggest things is when people, humans in general, realize their sexuality. Okay, so people are born with their sexuality. That's something that I will fight until the death of me. If someone comes up to me and
Mhm.
tells me, oh, this is learned, this can be untaught, you don't feel it, like I will burn bridges, which I have very deeply, cut, just burn shit down to say, hey, listen, that's not right. So typically when you are coming into your sexuality, you're around 15, 16, 17 years old. You're realizing, this is what I like and this is what I don't like. I think one of the biggest things into accepting it is finding people with like-minded um, values as you.
Mhm.
Talking with them, expressing your feelings. If you're getting to a point spiritually or emotionally or mentally where it is not providing service for you, and you thinking of your sexuality puts you in a very dark place, that's when you need to reach out to somebody, either professionally or spiritually.
And that's why we
Because
have you now.
yeah, exactly. So, but a lot of people aren't as spiritual as I am, right? I have many tactics. It's not like I stick to one thing and one thing only. Um, I have many different avenues that I could guide people on and saying, here, let's try this, or let's try meditation, let's try spirit guiding, let's try calming, let's try tick therapy. There's a lot of things you can try to do to calm yourself in those situations. Now, if you feel hindered by your sexuality, if you feel awful about your sexuality, that's when I say step up and either speak to a therapist or a spiritual healer, whatever your spirituality is, because some people are different. Not a lot of people, there's not a whole bunch of people that are into spiritual healing or holistic healing or natural naturopathic. They're not in that, or Reiki therapy or meditation. They're
Mhm.
not in that. So I would say to them is like seek help from, a general therapist that specializes in sexual identification, because dealing with kiddos is that have identity issues, that's where it stems. And as, let's say, a secondary part of that is if you have a friend or a family member or somebody who is struggling with sexual identity or they find it to be depressing because they're scared, or they know the backlash, and again, that is a culture thing that um, is being worked on with our next generation. So that's why I am empowering these kids right now to say, listen, you know what you're going through. Let's figure out ways that you can support our next generation or your friend or somebody. But I think with depression and mental health, when it comes to sexuality, if you're gay, if you're trans, if you're pansexual, bisexual, whatever it is, if it brings you hurt in your family, and like, that back generation of family, if they knew you were gay, you're going to be chastised, you're going to be ostracized, you're going to be
Gaslighted
hurt,
the hell.
gaslighted, you're going to be hurt from that. This is really hard, and I know sometimes this is not an option, but most places in larger cities, or there's lots of communities, is find support.
Literally.
If you can leave.
Literally.
Do not put yourself in situations where you're going to be bantered and bashed because of your sexuality, because all that's going to do is mentally handicap you. And it's going to make you ashamed of you, your sexuality, and who you are. And that's with any sexuality. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, in general. Straight, gay, or bi, anything.
Yeah, LGBTQA plus,
And
any
then
of it.
literally, and then to add on to that, everybody, so the other stigma that Dee I know is going to be really good at like breaking this down, but I'm going to make it simple. When it comes to sexuality and gender, those are two different things. And a lot of I'm going to say the word heterosexuals, and heterosexual is a straight, cis male or female, and what they do is they think gender and sexuality are the same thing. It's not. Sexuality is bisexual and gay. Literally, I should not have to repeat that. No one should have to repeat that. Like, that is the easiest thing to understand. Gender is what you're being perceived as, male or female. Non-binary is a gender. Only difference.
Yes.
Literally.
So,
and that's what a lot of people get confused about too. Still, to this day.
To this day. But I think also it's education. And again, I cannot stress enough of how much us as adults, for our children, is educating our children on this. Because if they don't know, they don't know, right? This is not something they're going to see on TV now. It's not something they're teaching. It's not something a lot of larger city schools now are. A lot of like paperwork and things and job applications now have your gender on there. So as not just male or female.
And you know what's crazy? There's only 3 now. It's male or female or X. They don't want to even get into anything else. Or literally.
Or I don't want to identify. So, I mean, that's a step. It's a very, very tiny step, but a lot of businesses in millennials and generation Z or whatever they're not living that corporate life anymore. So a lot of that was hindering on like human resources and like don't want to get in trouble. We don't want to get a lawsuit. And they're changing a lot of laws in a lot of states so that companies could feel like, okay, we can do this and ask this, or they can express this without us feeling like we're going to be sued for it. Right? Because a lot of it is because there's still places where, men and women can't get married anymore. Or they can, or it's not recognized. Georgia, for instance, partnerships are not recognized for people to get insurance. So if a man, or even a lesbian couple, they can't get insured. They have to have their own insurance. Like, it's fucking crazy. So
It is crazy.
it's things like that. But, having that identification, and that's why I always ask for pronouns from people. I want to make sure I identify people
First
correctly.
thing, first thing
Mhm.
when you first meet them, which is that's the only thing that's really unique about
Mhm.
people like you, D, is because when you first meet someone, you don't want to judge or assume, but it's
Mm-mm.
best practice in general to say, hey, it was very nice meeting you. I don't want to mess up. What are your
Mhm.
pronouns?
Yeah.
But but now in society, what they would do is like, oh, he, she, instantly,
He
instant
or she.
gratification
Yes.
of like assuming. But you take the time to stop the conversation, to get a little personal without making them feel
Mhm.
uncomfortable. And that's the only thing that's really unique about you when you and that's how you stand out in a room is,
Mhm.
hey, thank you for the conversation, but hey, what are your pronouns? And like you just, and then from there you pick up of the conversation where you left off.
Yeah. And it's easy
My flowers
enough.
to you.
Yeah, it's easy enough when you know somebody is in the community. I mean, I mean, it's your friends, it's your circle, it's people you know, and everything. And so, one of the things I do, when I'm speaking or like answering or something, I'm like, um, I just want to make sure. And this is an easy thing, even for straight people or allies. Is like just when you're having or meet somebody, be like, hey, I want to make sure that I'm addressing you properly. He, she, they,
Mm-hmm.
them, his, theirs, hers. Um, and you don't have to name them all, but you can, do a few, and they'll understand what you're asking. You don't have to go through the whole list.
Mm-hmm.
There's a very long list of
Yeah.
pronouns.
Very.
So you just want to say, hey, I want to make sure he, she, they, them, his, hers, theirs, and they'll know what you mean, and they'll let you know
Simple.
quickly. Yeah, it's
Simple
a
as
very
that.
simple question, and nobody's gonna be offended. If somebody gets offended, then that's then they got a
That's on
problem.
them.
And again, agree to disagree. I've asked many people that question who were offended. Like, oh, being a
You'll be
part of the
shocked.
LGBTQA plus community is offensive to you? Oh, you know what the A means, right? That's ally. Are you not a supporter of our community? Do you not support us
So then
or
why are you
group or
here?
yourself? You
Literally.
know?
Right, right?
So those are just things, and I give it right back, but that puts people in perspective. And maybe it
Mm-hmm.
might be one time nobody has given that perspective, and they really sit and think. And I've had many people come up to me and be like, "Listen, I've never had anybody ask me that question. It put a lot in
Mm-hmm.
perspective to me. Can I learn more?" I've had so in here in Horizons, Jay, you know as well as
Yeah,
know
for sure.
more
Girl, don't even
than for
get.
me.
We already know.
I lose my mind. And I do. But again, I come to people respectfully first, right? And if you're
Mm-hmm.
going to disrespect somebody, like right there, or you're not going, like, I'm going to respect you. I'm not here being mean to you. Now, if you don't believe, if you think, the community is wrong, or being gay is wrong, or trans is wrong,
Yeah.
okay, respectfully. No, that's fine. But just keep the fucking shit to yourself because I don't want to fucking hear it. I get very passionate about that stuff now. Respectfully, if you're going to have an educative conversation with me and we can educate each other or get each other's views respectfully, by all means, let's go into another room. I ain't doing it here in front of everybody. But if
Mm-hmm.
you are going to be, if you are going to chastise somebody, be racist, you're going to be homophobic, if you're going to be cruel in front of my face, it's a bad day for you.
Yeah.
But I'll have a respectful conversation, even if they don't
Yeah,
believe the
for
same thing
sure.
I do.
Yeah.
By all means.
So to switch gears, D, a little bit more about yourself and like your purpose and horizon. Tell us like when did you start? Like what was your main perspective when you first saw Horizon, and what just kept you going?
Um, it was the community, really, is meeting people that I would never meet in a million years from so many different locations and learning different cultures and um different races and learning about their culture and their sexuality. Especially, I first came in, really more on um in the LGBTQA plus, because that's where I was comfortable in that community. It's not that community, but our community, with more like-minded people. Um, I spoke on the Safe Talk on Monday about pansexuality, and that really revved me up because so many people came up to me and was like, I had no idea what that was until today. We just thought,
Mm-hmm.
people who says pans, they just want to have sex with everybody. I'm like, no,
No,
that's
that's
not it at all.
bisexual. But still, in general, no.
Yeah, like that's not what it means. Like, so I I seen some of the impact that I was able to bring in here for people to have more understanding of things that they would learn here and not learn anywhere else where they live. Small towns, coming out, different ways that they can communicate, um,
Mm-hmm.
resources, friendship, support groups, supporting each other, just having somebody there. Um, Jay, me and you, we are like best friends. Like I would have never met you. You live in Seattle. Like, so I think one of my
Literally.
biggest things here was, providing the education and answering a lot of questions and letting people know, my path, in my spirituality, and what I could when I can offer. Now well, what I was on the road to offer and what I can offer now, working on that. I'm working on being able to get out there to provide like what I can offer. I don't charge a dime. I never will. I do have a standard therapy license. I didn't do a lot of spiritual healing, so that was really kind of my direction in here. Um, Being honest, this is a hot topic. I have met people in here that I thought were on a good direction, and I kind of poured myself in, and it wasn't. It kind of shocked me a little bit of how much of an advantage that people will take from people just because they're behind a headset. So that was something that I really struggled with in here. As like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, do I really pour my energy into this, or am I going to get burned, or like, do I want to grow in here? Absolutely, that's what I want to do. I want to grow myself as a healer, as a woman, as a friend, of everything. So I've seen a really beautiful community, and I've seen a really bad community. I feel like the better part of the community is what keeps me here. Um, because I've met people here that I would never ever meet in a million years, and became like soul partners, like, and that was crazy to me. And
Yeah, I know.
this is a real
Genesee
thing.
604 and TY are about
Hmm.
to. She's about to move to Tampa,
Yeah.
Florida, with him,
Oh
or
yeah,
something
and
like
so
that.
did. Oh yeah, and Sheila and Neo.
And Neo, yeah,
Sheila moved to Florida. I mean, they're getting like, it's crazy. People are fine. Like, you'll never. It's just like especially people from like smaller towns, or just don't have the resources to reach out to find different connections. And especially with the LGBTQA plus community in here too. I made a lot of people in here that are like from very small towns. They are still
very
in.
homophobic,
Yeah,
very
yeah, they're homophobic. But then you find that, you'll find somebody who is gay, and they can't be gay in real life. They want to be that person, but they can't. But they can do it here. They can be who they are
literally,
here. And it's such a beautiful thing to watch. And I wanted to hone on that and be like, listen, a spiritual safe place, or even just a safe place for what kept me here. And like,
hmm
I literally fell on this on I don't even know. Like, I got the Oculus, I had surgery, I had a hysterectomy, and then I was like, damn, I'm gonna be sitting here doing not a fucking thing. And a friend bought me the Oculus, and I was in there playing like just random shit.
Beat
Just
Saber, like
be
Rec
yeah, in the
Room.
bed like this. No, I've never been in a rec room. I never went onto any social media platform. Um, but I was in there just doing the most, playing poker and all that stuff. And then like one day, like Horizons came up, and I went in. I was like, oh, let's see what this is about. Now, when I first got in, it was a shit show, and I was like, holy shit. And then it was like one person came to me and was like, hey, let's go, let's get out of here, I'm going to show you other. And I mean, it was like a whole new world. As soon as like they took me world hopping, I was like, this is insane, because like in real life, I'm an artist as well, but not like in here. This is all new, and so I was like, oh my god, this is beautiful. There's so many people here, so much great. There's good and bad, and I've learned to balance that really well. But I just hopped on it one day. It was crazy. And it was just, I came in every day since. I don't think I can remember a time that I have not been on here. Well, except for recently, I had to go do some
Hiatus.
spiritual stuff. And
Refreshing. Yep.
yeah. So I went up to the mountains, and then I went back to my elder, and then I went to Sweat Lodge. So I went back to my reservation, and I stayed there for a while.
Oh, that's good. Well, that's
Mhm.
good. So my follow-up question, Han, before we close it out,
Mhm.
what are you doing in the metaverse moving forward with your new journey and your certification? What worlds are you going to come out with? What collaborations are you going to plan on doing? What are you going to do more to make sure someone's voice is heard, not only for your nonprofit Free Mom Hugs, but like for the LGBTQIA plus, for African Americans, for your Native people? Like, what worlds are coming from D1985 for in the future and from here on out?
Yep. So I've been working mostly solo. I don't have really any collabs going on. Um, I find when I am building on my spirituality or on my culture, it's hard to find people that are on the Native American community is not really. There's a few, um, but I am making a meditation world, a pod world. I'm making a sweat lodge. Um, I'm making well, I'm working with Blue and VR on a world right now, where he's doing a lot of scripting and things for me for an interactive world, for soul meditation, for Turkey, for guided meditations. I'm going to be doing a meditation Monday in there, where I'm going to do led meditations myself. So it's all um, yeah, it's guided meditation. And then there's going to be different rooms to learn of different spiritualities or crystals and herbs and things of that nature, of people who want to learn about that. Um, Jay, you've been in my native world. I really want to finish that up.
Yeah.
Um, I want to, those are things now with my certification. I've kind of cleared some space in my head spiritually and emotionally in order to produce that here, because I felt like I was a little clogged for a while. I was getting too in depth in different standards here. And so as soon as I got that certification, I just was like, oh my God, this is I meditated like as soon as I opened up that mail, and I was like, I think it was a revelation for me in having understanding where people need somewhere and understanding to go. I am 100,000% open for anybody. I mean, I will provide anything that I offer for free in the metaverse. Not saying I'm going to take everybody on, but I I want to hear people's stories and see how I can help them, and see if, just like anything else spiritual, like when I read tarot or I do anything else, sometimes it clicks and sometimes it doesn't. So if I meet somebody and I sit down, do an initial, and I feel connection to them and see how I can help them. If I can't benefit them, I will be 100% honest and say, listen, I don't think that I would be able to help you in any way. Um, but I'm not, I won't charge anything for anything I provide in here.
That's good. That's good. So, February 5th, your big day, girly.
Happy
Tell us.
birthday. In my
Literally,
birthday.
happy
In my
birthday.
birthday. In my
Yes.
birthday.
So, plans? What do you got planned for
No,
your birthday, hon?
nothing. Absolutely
Nothing.
nothing. No, seriously, nothing.
Are you not
Going
going to
to
go take
dinner?
yourself out to dinner?
No, my friends will take me to dinner, but
Yeah.
my friends in IRL, they're all married and got like 18 kids. So,
Oh, Not 18 and married.
I'm just kidding. But no, I do have some plans. I'm gonna go out to dinner tomorrow after, kind of early afternoon, but I am gonna take a this okay, you've heard me talk about this. This is so random. I booked a flight to Tampa, Florida to sit my ass on the beach. I just booked it for no fucking reason whatsoever. I do that shit all the time. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually have a friend down there. So she's, she's excited. I haven't seen her in a long time. She sent me an email and she was like, or a text message. I don't know. It was the other day. I said, man, I'm going to come down there and sit my butt on the beach one day coming up. And literally, like, it was like an epiphany and literally booked it tonight. And I'm just going to go down there for a night and fly back.
Well, that's
But
gonna be
I will have
relaxing,
my
girl.
Oculus, FYI. I will not miss out on anything.
Literally.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine.
So we're just gonna go eat dinner and then I'm gonna come back. I do the most.
Well, that's good that you're at least doing something, and not like sitting at home.
Oh gosh.
Okay,
no,
well,
I try to do whatever I can. Self
thank you,
care,
Dee.
self care, everybody. Self care is
Literally.
very important.
Literally. Well, Dee, we're at our hour mark. And with that being said, I would like to give a special shout out to our sponsor, DeVeo, founded by Matlow 3D, for being a sponsor for this new season of the What Upton. And being a part of the builder team, check out Matlow's latest build, which is his office. Also, check out Dee's Galaxy Meditation. And then from there, I would like to also give a shout out to Flex Ty and his latest build, 49th Grove Street, and myself with my latest build, which is the What Upton Show. From there, I would like to give a special shout out to everyone who is watching on YouTube, and you can find D1985-4 on her Instagram, the same name with VR added. Now that she is certified, utilize, understand what her brain is like, let her help you and heal you, and just know that she is always there to answer questions because Dee is not only a phenomenal person, she's just really great at what she does. And I, as a no, I almost said a guest. As a I'm going to say patient now that you're certified. Yes. As a patient, she really did help me on a lot of things. Not only, even though I'm still working on a lot of things, there was some growth, but it always takes time, and you have to know and trust the process. So again, happy early birthday, Dee. Shout out to you and shout out to your certification, and I can't wait to see you grow. And thank you guys for watching. You can follow me on Instagram at jvanityupton without the VR. Again, that's jvanityupton. You can follow D1985-4 VR on IG for any more questions or anything for me or her. Thank you again, and that's What Upton.
Yay! Cut.